I made a poll a few days ago for the videos to make this week, and from 9 people that voted, the top vote is application process for a Nigerian visa. My girlfriend, who is Dutch, recently got a Nigerian visa. The application for this cost us $278, and it took 7 days for her to get an approval and also for her to get her visa. The process for this wasn't very difficult, but it also wasn't as straightforward as we expected. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the process, but also highlight some of the mistakes that we made earlier. Then we fixed those mistakes and probably just some factors in our application that contributed to an approval. The basic steps for a Nigerian visa application is that you create an account on the immigration website, you fill a form, you pay for the application, select your embassy, create an appointment with that embassy, go there, do your biometrics, then wait for a decision from the Nigerian immigration, and on approval, you can go collect your visa. The first part of all of this is the visa application, and that was something that really stressed us. So even looking for the website where we could apply was very difficult. So in Netherlands, we have the Den Haag or The Hague embassy where you can get your Nigerian visa. And here on their website, if you go to visa and then you come here to visa application, it takes you to this portal, which from my findings is the old portal that is not really in use anymore. Because when you come to this portal, you have username and password, but what is your username? What is your password? If you don't have an account before, how do you know these details? I tried looking for the right immigration website. I think I even sent them an email that I saw this portal, but I don't know how to enter my credentials. And after going through many places to find the actual website, I eventually found the right one. So I think if you go to portal.immigration.gov.ng, you're welcome with this page. Then if you come here to this visa section and you go to apply for entry visa, then it takes you to this place here, which is the steps. You have an account, you fill application form, you make payments, and if you go to sign in for here, then you are presented with the actual login portal. So here, if you have an account, you can enter your email and your password, but if you don't, you can come here to sign in using Google. So we already have an account, we can proceed to sign in, and here we have the portal. There's currently no incomplete application. We have one unpaid application, which was something we started and we made a mistake, then we had to create a new application. Then we have a paid application where we actually paid, did an appointment, and got the visa. So here we can create a new application. So here you select your nationality, which in the case of my girlfriend is Netherlands. Then you have the passport type, which was the standard passport. Then you have the visa type, multiple entry, single entry, STR, temporary work permit. So let's talk about visa types. By the way, all the links I use in this video will be shared in the video description. Here on immigration.gov.ng, we have the visa category. There's the tourism one, employment, diplomatic, academic, business, Nigerians by birth, temporary work permit, highly skilled immigrants, relatives of permanent residents. Now, some of these visa types are long stay visas, but when we look at the short stay visa categories, then we have the tourism, transit, and visiting visas. So there is a tourism one for the purpose of tourism. Then there is a visiting one, visiting Nigeria for the purpose of social visit to family and friends. That's a category we fall under. There is the multiple entry one, and then there is the transit one. So went for the single entry visiting visa. Here we can find more information. Passport valid for at least 6 months, recent passport photographs, return ticket. This is a very important part. You need to have your flight reservation before applying for this visa. So I would recommend that you get a flight reservation where you can get a refund for the flight ticket, because in the case of a rejection, all your money is gone, but if you have a refund ticket, you can get your money back. We actually took the risk of not getting a refund ticket because we didn't have a lot of money to pay for the flight, but I would really recommend that you don't take that risk. Then there's evidence of sufficient funds where you send your bank statement, evidence of hotel reservation or host address, onward ticket to the next destination, invitation letter from family or friend. When we come to these fees here, we go to nationality, Netherlands, travel, document type, standard passport, and then we select the single entry, and then you can see the single entry here for 90 days maximum is $88. But down here you also have an important note. Selected visa may include an additional fee of $170 for biometric capture. Biometric capture is where they take your passport, your fingerprint, and all of those details that they send along with your documents. And 170 plus 88, that's already $258. So we can go back to the portal, which is this one. So for the visa type, we can now select the single entry, the visa class, visiting visa, F6A, processing country. Now this is going to be processed in the embassy in the Netherlands, which is in The Hague. So for this mission, we can select The Hague. So here you see we already have $258, and then we can continue. And this is where you have the application form where you fill things like your name, date of birth, you enter a photo here, your passport number, passport expiry, previous nationality, postal zip code, and all those information. And when you're done, you go to the next page where you add a reference in Nigeria. This is where you add information about the person inviting you in Nigeria, which in that case was me. So it was information about me, where I lived, a phone number to contact. And then afterwards, you go to the next step where you pay. Like we saw earlier, this cost $258, but I think there is also a processing fee of $20 because in total we paid $278. So after you have created your application, the next thing is an appointment, and on this same dashboard you can go to book appointment. Here you put the application ID from your application and a reference number. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go to this unpaid applications, I'm going to blow out a few things. Here you can find the application number, just the number below this, and you can find the reference number. So when you enter that here, you go to next, you book an appointment slot, and then you get the confirmation of your appointment, which you are also going to print and submit when you go for your appointment. So now let's talk about the document that you have to bring. And when you get this appointment, they are going to give you a whole list of documents or a checklist of documents to bring, and I have that document here on Notion because this was how we tracked what we have selected. I'm just going to uncheck all of this. So we have the visiting visa. The first document is the appointment slip, which is arranged by this agency OIS. So after you book your appointment, you are able to print that slip and you have to bring that for your appointment. Then there is the passport valid for 6 months. Then 2 recent passport size photographs, online payment receipts, and the payment receipt in this case is the payment for your application. Then you have the invitation letter procedure, which is where things get interesting. So for someone with family ties in Nigeria, these are all the things expected to bring. Then there's inviter with friends ties, and also for the applicants, she with friends ties, she also has to provide all of this. Now, this was where we made our first mistake, which was actually the biggest mistake we made in the application. I don't even know if calling it a mistake was the right word, but anyways, I am living in the Netherlands, she's living in the Netherlands, so I thought that the right inviter should be somebody living in Nigeria, which is my parents. So then we had an invitation letter from my parents. My mom was the one who wrote it, and she was the one inviting my girlfriend to Nigeria. So my mom had to send things like her bank statement, her NIN, her driver's license. But then when my girlfriend took this to the embassy, she was advised that instead of my mom being the inviter, I should be the inviter, that it is more effective that way. Now at first that didn't make sense to me because I live here. I don't live in Nigeria, so how do I invite her to Nigeria? But apparently that was more effective, that since I'm going to Nigeria with her and I have a permanent residence or a citizenship in Nigeria, then it's more effective for me to invite her along. First, we had the whole thing with my mom inviting and her documents, but then we had to change that to me, where I shared my residence, my Netherlands residence, passport, my bank statement, just 1 month bank statement, and then I also had to share my proof of employment that I work here in the Netherlands, which was this part here where it says the inviter should also mention the occupation and where they work, providing the proof. So I provided my employment contract to show that I work here. But then also for my girlfriend, she had to provide a letter of introduction where she introduced herself to the Nigerian embassy. The girlfriend also had to submit her bank statement and pay slip, her bank statement of the last 3 months, and also her pay slip from the company that she works for. And then also the bank statement and passport data page of the inviter, which is me. I submitted 1 month bank statement, which was the previous month. We applied in December, so I submitted the bank statement of November, and then also my passport data page. Now, one thing I want to point out here is when it comes to the passport data page, don't just take a picture of just where your details are. Take a picture of the whole first page. Now, this was a mistake. Again, I'm not sure if the right word is mistake, but I sent this earlier, but when she went there, she was advised that instead of just having just a document of just the place where my name and other details is, I should take a picture of also the other page making up to the first page, just just like you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm not sure if this is really a big thing that could affect your application, but it was an advice we got when my girlfriend went to the embassy. A clear copy of your applicant's passport data badge, admin and handling fee of 30 euros, flight reservation, a copy of a yellow fever vaccine. Yes, she also had to get a yellow fever vaccine, and then copy of COVID vaccine certificates. She didn't do this one, but maybe you could also do it. Okay, so that was it for documents we had to send. She got there on the appointment date, and after doing the biometrics and submitting the document, she was given a return slip. That return slip is your kind of like an evidence to get your visa back. So 7 days approximately later, she got an email that the visa had been approved and was ready for pickup. So she went with the return slip, dropped the return slip there, and then got the visa. How many minutes is this? This video took longer than I expected. Anyways, this was our experience. When it comes to visa, the decision is totally up to the immigration folks. They have their different reasons for accepting or rejecting, so I cannot really say for sure this was what worked for us. But I do believe that the more evidence you show that you will be coming back, things like your flight ticket, your employment contract, showing that you have dealings in your own country, whether you're applying from Netherlands or a different country, the more you can show these things, then they know that when you're done with what you're here for, you will leave. I'm not an expert on visa applications, just sharing what I think worked for us. That was it about this video. If you're interested in applying for Nigerian visa, I hope some of these tips help. This is something you can do for yourself. You don't have to pay somebody else. Just provide important documents and also provide as many documents as possible. You want to give them every information and you want to give them every evidence. Well, see you in my next video. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you know somebody who wants to apply for a Nigerian visa, please share this with them, and also subscribe. I make videos talking about different things in the Netherlands if you'd love to see any of that.